I hope I can just tell a lot of people about Jesus, because my dream is to always tell people about Jesus and let the whole world know Jesus. And I also want to make a lot of friends, and I want to show the world that kids can make a difference.
Mid-South Viewpoint, a Christian news and information feature of Bott Radio Network 640 AM, discussing the news, views, issues, and concerns that affect our community. Join us now for today's edition of Mid-South Viewpoint.
Byron, it's great to be back, and I just want to reiterate what you just said. It is a great day and age to be a follower of Jesus Christ. And whether you're in Memphis, Mississippi, or points elsewhere, the needs for a Christ follower and to be obedient to that, it's a great day to follow Jesus. The needs here in Memphis are huge, and the needs overseas are huge. And man, it's a day and age for believers to say, hey, God, where are you leading us? And then to take that next step and say, let's go, let's get involved. And that's what we're doing.
Ernie was a fun boy to be a father to. And especially since I had been interested in sports and athletics all my life, it was exciting for me when he was a boy for him to be involved in sports, especially football. And then he went off to college, played football, but majored, I think, in psychology. And then after he graduated, he decided he wanted to be a football coach. So he enrolled back in my old alma mater, Texas A&M, Giga Aggies, which was exciting to me. But 2 days before he was to go there and study to be a football coach, I came home from work, and he said, Dad, I had a little talk with Mom. I said, well, good. She's a good person to talk to. I've had a few talks with her, too. He said, I've changed my plans. He said, I'm going to go to seminary and be a pastor. And that's what he did.
And did you
About a year ago, I got to thinking, I wonder if on some Friday nights when he was in seminary studying, and there was football games going on all around the world, if he didn't think, man, it'd be nice to be out there on the football field. I asked him that. He said, Dad, not one time. Not one time. His mother talked him into something that stuck like that? No. His mother knew his heart, focused him in the right direction, and that's why he's where he is today.
Byron, I just got to say this, is that I appreciate the compliment, but there is an army of pastors, and not just an army of pastors. There is an army of followers of Jesus in Memphis that desire more than anything to see the body of Christ unified. And Memphis has been a city that has garnered so much negative press over the years that I just have to declare on this show that God is doing an awesome work, and He is bringing together suburban pastors, urban pastors, African-American pastors, Anglo pastors, Latino pastors, Vietnamese pastors, and bringing that together with a heart throb to see Memphis be unified in that. And I want to declare out loud right now that it's happening. It's not just something that we're building towards, that there's efforts that are taking place that are seeing victories won in those areas. And one of the hardest things for us leaving Memphis is we really do believe that there is a tsunami of ministries that are taking place right here. Memphis Teachers Residency Program, downline ministries, various ministries that are going on that are rebuilding the walls of Memphis, and there's momentum that's taking place. And one of the hardest things for us is to walk away from that because, man, it is intoxicating to be a part of that environment.
Just to see the women lead the way in bringing pastors together and churches together from all over Memphis was very, very exciting. And I feel like through Ellen leading the charge and working with other pastors' wives and churches all over Memphis, those efforts have continued and really pushed our city toward a unified city in the Lord, and that's really exciting. I know for women, a lot of times women are fearful of going into the city or going to an environment that is different than where they live. And we've started friendship groups of crossing over those lines. And just an encouragement that I'd like to give women is that I'm claiming right now in my own life is moving over to Ethiopia. Sometimes feels like if you move into Memphis or move into areas of culture that are different than you are, you don't have to feel like you have it all together. I've claimed 2 Corinthians 12:9, and it says, "My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness." And a lot of times it's not feeling like, hey, I want to do this, I want to go, and I feel that your own power, but it's feeling God's power, and His power is made perfect, and we can do it in our weaknesses.
The key thing that Ann's talking about is the word relationship. As we talk about unifying in Memphis, as we talk about going overseas to Ethiopia, there's a certain amount of this. I want to go make a difference for the Lord. I want to earn some kind of achievement and conquer a hill. Where I think one of the biggest hills that God wants us to conquer is relationship. Jesus spent 3 years cultivating a relationship with 12 guys that changed the world. And one of the most beautiful lessons that I learned during the whole redemption experience was an African-American pastor in the city put his arm around me and said, "Ernie, I love your fire, but you got to understand that the way that we're going to move forward as a city is through relationships. It's not going to be through programming. It's not going to be through events. It's you and I sitting down, having dinner together, having fellowship together, and us sharing our hearts together in prayer." And so I want us to keep in mind the word relationship. And I think the other thing that goes along with that is the word humility. We have got to be willing to learn from other people and not be so dogmatic on our doctrine and not be so dogmatic on our perspective, but be willing to learn from others that are different from us. The example of Abraham, he obeyed and went even though he did not know where he is going. And for the church in Memphis to move forward, we're going to have to take some risks that move us outside of the church walls, place us in unusual and awkward situations, but that's where God shows up. And so if we obey and go, even though we might not know what the end game is going to be, it is in that place that God shines the brightest. And in the city of Memphis, for us to reach the places that needs to be reached, it's going to be churches being obedient and being risky to step out in those relationships. Obey and go, God shows up in the middle.
At first, we thought we might take a trip to India, a trip to Ethiopia, and a trip to China. And then we thought about going to Ethiopia, and so we kept on thinking about it and thinking about it. Finally, we did it, and they told me that we're going to be going to Ethiopia for 2 years. And I'm like, and I didn't want to leave my friends at that point because I've made really good relationships over the 8 years that I've been here. And so we still kept on with that thing, and we said we're going to go to Ethiopia, and that's what we keep on saying. And finally, once my mom and my sisters said, okay, we're going to go, we started packing up and everything, and it made me feel a little sad. Then I started noticing in my room how much that we need to go to Ethiopia, because I love to adventure and explore, and this will be a very good trip for me. At my school, we did a book report, and my teacher just gave me Ethiopia as my country, and so I was able to learn a little bit about the people there, and I've been there once, so I know a little bit more about the people by seeing and being there. The people in Ethiopia, they're really happy if you just come and see them, give them a hug or love on them. They're very happy to see you, and they're always joyful. Anyway, if they only have nothing, they have nothing. All they have is clothes and a little bit of food to eat. And some of them go to school, and only 4 of them live in a real house, and other of them sleep on the floor. No, on the street. And then they're so happy and joyful, the street kids are. And then the other really rich people in Ethiopia. They are always nice and always happy, and they are always so welcoming. And even if they're poor and everything, they invite you to their house to eat, and they make you feel happy and at home and comfortable. I hope that I can just I hope I can just tell a lot of people about Jesus, because my dream is to always tell people about Jesus and let the whole world know Jesus. And I also want to make a lot of friends, and I want to show the world that kids can make a difference.
My story is totally different than my older sisters, but when we would talk about it at the dinner table, I wouldn't want anything to do with Ethiopia. I just got this terrible feeling. I was like, no, I don't want to go, don't want to talk about it, because just leaving my family, my friends, and so I was reading a book in school, and it was the Johnny Erickson Tata story, and it was where when she dove into the Chesapeake Bay, she became a quadriplegic, and how one thing in her life changed the whole course of her life. And so I was reading that, and it was kind of like a crazy book, and no one really wanted to read it, but this was the first year my teacher did it, so I think it was really meant for me. And it talks about when she dove in there, her life was changed forever. And what got me is I got on a plane to Ethiopia, and my life was changed forever. And so later that day, I was like, Dad, if we don't go, we're really going to regret this. And so just after that, God's worked with me. He's blessed me along the way with amazing friends and a class that's supporting and everything. It was kind of crazy because this was like our first trip to Ethiopia, and so when we got off there, it's kind of like, whoa, we're not in America anymore. And so but it was really neat seeing like the different cultures, and I was really kind of excited but also nervous in the same sense, because I've never been out of the country before. The food is very, very different. It's like a big pancake, and it's sour and it's spongy, and you take all these different lentils and spices and meats, and we tried it, and I'm not a big fan of it, but all the people in Ethiopia go crazy over it. They love that food. It's really interesting, but that was one of the big differences. But then another, they really spend their time, like if you go over to someone's house, they'll really get into a relationship with you, and like you'll stay there a longer time than just you'll stay at a normal person's house. So it was really cool, the experiences we got to see and stuff. We went to this one place, I guess it was called the Deborah House, but it was really neat because we got to see these girls worshiping God and how much they loved Him, and it was really neat to see different cultures, but we really connected, I guess, with them. It was really cool. For Christmas Eve last year, I sang Your Great Name by Natalie Grant, and so I sang that, and then lately I've been singing Our God by Chris Tomlin, and so those are some that I really like. Water you turned into wine, open the eyes of the blind. There's no one like you, none like you. Into the darkness you shine, out of the ashes we rise. There's no one like you, none like you. Our God is greater, our God is stronger, and God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power, our God. Our God. Into the darkness you shine, out of the ashes we rise. There's no one like you, none like you. Our God is greater, our God is stronger, and God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power, our God, our God.
Our favorite family verse that began when Ann and I went out on the mission field in 1995 is Ephesians 3:20, and it's God is able to do immeasurably more than all we could ever ask or imagine according to his power who works in us. And Byron, as we think about our children, as we think about this next 2-year adventure, our plan right now is to go for 2 years. 2 years fits with our daughter will be graduated and I'll turn 50. And so it's kind of an even line of demarcation. But as we step out in this adventure, our thought is what does God have in store for our girls? What is the script of their life? Because it's not just a husband and a wife being obedient, it's a family being obedient. And God is desiring to use us in ways that at this point we can't even ask or imagine. So that voice that you just heard sing, who we didn't even prep her on the way here that she was even going to be singing, the confidence to step out into that, and as we translate that to the future, we can't even imagine what God has in store for our girls.
As Ernie talked about Abraham going to a place that he doesn't know, in Genesis 22, verse 18, it says, "Through your offspring, all nations on earth will be blessed because you have obeyed." And I feel like God has shared that verse with me, that through our offspring, through our girls, God has a special plan for them, and that all the nations on earth will be blessed through our obedience in going.
Byron, earlier in our discussion, you mentioned about Memphis, and we mentioned the key phrase, relationship. Africa is relationally oriented. You really don't become a person outside of your relationships. And so for us going as a couple, that's a great thing. Us going as a family creates instant authenticity for Africans because they see the fact that you're relational oriented. And so we're just, we have had a privilege, Byron, since April 1st to be in about 8 other churches. Some pastors in Memphis have opened up their platform for us to come and share our story. And what has walked away, the impact of us being at those churches has been, I can't believe your family is doing this together. And my encouragement to families that might be listening today, or husbands and wives that are out there, is that family on mission together is the best way to encounter the Lord, because it enables everyone to get involved and enables everybody to use their own unique gift that God has. Central Church is a non-denominational church, and so therefore we're not going as Baptists would go with the International Mission Board. We're going as independent missionaries, and as independent missionaries we're going with an independent missionary organization, which is SIM. And so SIM is based in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a mission organization that is over 100 years of age. They began initially in Africa, but now they have incorporated other mission organizations underneath them. So they are literally a global mission organization. And we're going with them because missions organization provides structure. They provide a way for your finances to be handled. And we're stepping out in faith. And for those of you that are not familiar with what the phrase stepping out in faith means is that we're not going with a contract. We're not going with a salary. We're not going over there being paid for what we're doing. We raise the funds of the body of Christ here that enables us to go. And Byron, I just want to say God's hand has been unbelievably gracious on our family in the last 2.5 months. What they can do to get in touch with us is our plans is we will be in the Memphis area the end of June, first couple of weeks of July. And I don't know how you want to work it, whether they contact us directly or contact Bot Radio Network and you give them the information, but they can contact you and get our email address, or they can go directly to SIM, www.sim.usa, and they can find out the information about the Freys there.
It has been so exciting to watch the girls' friends give them surprise parties and give up their birthdays to raise funds for these girls. Each of the girls have had their friends give up their own gifts at a birthday party to give the money toward them.
My friend, they were turning 13, and it was 2 of them. And they said, no, we don't want any gifts. We have too many. And so we were about to go swimming, and they were like, well, we have just a couple. And instead of giving them to them, they gave them to me. And it was really neat because there was words of encouragement, blessings for our trip that we can use. It was really neat.
And Meredith's teacher at Central Day School, Central Church has a K through 8th 8th grade day school, and her teacher gave her a huge cake that said Missionary Meredith on it, and she has a letter from each of her classmates to open each month as she's overseas for 2 years.
Thanks for listening to Mid-South Viewpoint. If you'd like to join the conversation, you can email us. Our address is wcrv@botradionetwork.com. This has been Mid-South Viewpoint, another Christian news and information feature from Bot Radio Network 640 AM.